Well, Richard, you've brought quite a small number of things here to talk to us about, but a bountiful basket of sweet potatoes and some jars. So talk me through, what do we have here?
Sure thing. I have to say that sweet potatoes are one of my favorite crops. You just can't go wrong with them. They have a long shelf life. Everything I have here is from last year. And they're delicious, of course, and there's so many wonderful things that you can do with them. They can grow in slightly acidic soil, and they can actually help aerate the soil, break up the soil.
Yes.
So they're an all-purpose, amazing plant.
Are these from your garden?
These are from my garden.
Oh, fun.
And one little factoid I like to share with people is that the raised bed that I grew these in is about roughly the size of a elevator.
Nice.
But I was able to produce over 100 pounds of potatoes in such a small space, and so you just can't lose.
You can't lose with sweet potatoes.
One of the questions that comes up a lot is, where do sweet potatoes come from? We know they grow in the garden, but what do you start with? Is it a seed or something?
Yeah.
You start with what's called a sweet potato slip. And it's basically a plant a small plant that has roots growing from it. But how do we get there?
From a potato like that.
So we start with the potato like this, and this is not something I would put on my dinner table, although this is a beautiful potato. There's no such thing as ugly fruit or ugly produce, but this potato is perfect for starting potato slips. So start with the potato.
Well, I have to ask, why is it perfect?
It's perfect because of the size. So for example, this is an amazing potato.
That's sweet potato pie right there.
Yeah, I have to lower my voice. An amazing potato. But this will not work. And the reason why is we're going to suspend our potato in a jar of water. So I've got your standard quart jar, and you see it's kind of a long, skinny shape.
Yes.
I'm going to poke a couple of toothpicks in here to suspend it. And then put water in the jar, maybe a little bit higher here. And you could start these in like February.
Right.
And just make sure, set it on a windowsill.
Sunny or?
Sunny windowsill so that it's getting some light. And just keep the water level up because it'll evaporate over time, so just keep the water level up.
Okay.
And then what happens is this amazing thing. You start to see roots grow out of the bottom of the potato.
Oh, that is so fun.
And if you look closely, you can see
at the top
potato slips. I call these baby slips, baby potato slips that are starting right up here at the top.
Oh, they're darling. Look at them. Yes, same, keep them still. Yep.
We can take this, and this might be out on your counter, on your windowsill for a couple of months or so, and it will continue to grow and grow. And you'll get something like this. So one of the things we can see is that there are a lot more root system going here.
But look at those shoots.
Yes, they've really popped out. And I'd like to let them get a little bit longer. And then what we do is we can snip off these slips, and then in a smaller glass jar, you suspend the slips. So they're in water. We're kind of repeating this process again with the slips.
With the slips.
Yes.
A small little glass jar.
What will happen with the slips then is that they will start to put out roots, a root system. It'll look a little bit similar to what you're seeing in this jar.
Right.
And then once those roots are 3 inches or so long, it's time to take your slips out to the garden and plant them.
Best part. Now I have a question. When you remove the slip, do you remove any of the potato with the slip, or are you just removing the slip from the potato?
I'm removing just the slip from the potato.
Nice sharp knife.
Now, I'll tell you, there's a shortcut. You could take this slip, once you take it off the potato, and put it directly in the soil.
Oh, that's good.
And so you'll still get the roots going, but I like to, once I figure out something that works, I like to stay with it.
Yeah, and I like to have roots on the plants that I put in the garden.
Yes, yes.
So, well, this is grand. So then you water it well. Do you shade them at all to kind of give them a chance to acclimate because they've been inside, or anything to help these cute little slips start to really thrive?
I am typically putting slips in the ground from about mid-May through most of June, through like maybe the third week of June.
Right.
So it's going to be warm enough where I don't have to worry about a freeze or anything like that. I always wait till after Mother's Day to start planting.
Nice warm soil.
What I like to do to minimize labor with potatoes is put down ground cover. So, permeable material, weed barrier.
Right.
And then poke holes in the weed barrier and plant the slips in those holes. Run your irrigation lines. And it's almost no work at all at that point because you don't have to weed.
Yep.
And just make sure that they're getting enough water and watch those beautiful potatoes, sweet potatoes grow.
And if you don't have weed barrier, you can put lots of mulch down.
You can. I've used straw and other mulches.
Well, Richard, this has been grand. And so many people wonder where and how do sweet potatoes basically multiply? Because we all know with white potatoes, it's all about the eye. But with sweet potatoes, I want to thank you for demonstrating this. And thank you for coming on and sharing with us a secret. So thank you, Richard.
You're welcome. Thank you.